and welcome to the Championship Preview and Prediction Show. Thank you so much for everyone who has tuned into this one. We have several big games, including the Steel City Derby taking place on Friday night. So let's get straight into those fixtures. But if you haven't already, feel free to smash the subscribe button if you are new. And if you do enjoy the video, please make sure you leave a like. It really does help the channel out. But the first game is, of course, Friday night, where Sheffield United host city rivals Sheffield Wednesday. A massive game for both sides. And it's a game that I can only see one winner. Because they are in such bad form at the moment, Sheffield Wednesday. 4 defeats in a row. 2-1 defeat to Middlesbrough, 3-0 to QPR, 3-1 to Birmingham, and then a 4-0 home defeat to Norwich. Sheffield United's form is iffy in the last 5 games. A 1-0 win over Hull, followed by a 2-1 defeat to Derby, 1-0 draw with Stoke, 4-2 against Wigan, and then a 1-0 defeat to Nottingham Forest. Currently, Sheffield United find themselves third in the table, and a win over city rivals Wednesday would see them go top of the league. A win for Sheffield Wednesday could see them go into 13th place, but they currently see themselves in 17th after having chances to go top of the league earlier on in the season. They are now really struggling, 4 points away from the relegation zone. So concerning for both. The last time these two met was a 0-0 draw at Sheffield United. The time before that, Sheffield United went to Hillsborough and won 4-2. So I think it will remain that Sheffield United will win this game. I'm going to go 2-0 to Sheffield United, and that result will take them top of the table. That is a 7:45 kick-off on Friday evening. A very good game to kick off the weekend's football indeed. And then we have a whole bunch of fixtures on Saturday as always, as you know, with one game being a 5:30 even kick-off. And no games on Sunday, and then we go into international break. So Birmingham will host Hull. Really good form for Birmingham. 1 defeat in their last 5 games, losing 3-1 to Derby. But before that, they had around 4 or 5 wins in a row, beating like Sheffield United, Reading, Stoke, and Rotherham. Hull currently see themselves in 23rd place and are currently in the relegation zone. However, there is optimism around the stadium due to 2 wins on the bounce, beating Bolton and West Brom 1-0. Birmingham, a win here could see them really challenge those playoff positions, and I feel like they will get this win. I'm going to go for 2-1 to Birmingham City. Next, we have Blackburn versus Rotherham. 2 sides that have had contrasting starts to their season. Both sides got promoted last season from League One into the Championship. Blackburn are currently in 8th place, and a win, like most clubs around the top half, can take them into the playoffs. 3 wins, 1 draw and 1 defeat in their last 5 games. Only 1 defeat for Rotherham in their last 5 games, 3 draws, and then a win in their last game, beating Swansea 2-1, with Ryan Manning scoring 2 penalties at the end to beat Swansea, who are in 9th place. Home form has been okay for Blackburn, but the away form for Rotherham is awful. 2 draws is all they have managed, but those 2 draws have come in their last 2 games. 6 defeat before that, a 1-1 draw with Preston, and a 0-0 draw with Middlesbrough. So I think this one will be tight, but I really do think Blackburn will get the win. I'm going to go 1-0 to Blackburn. The same sort of result that they had against QPR, where they won 1-0 as well at home, and that is what I'm expecting. Blackburn 1, Rotherham 0. Next, we have Bolton versus Swansea. And Swansea have lost some games you'd expect them to win, losing to Rotherham and obviously losing to Ipswich as well. Bolton, they are on a terrible run of form. In their last sort of 10 games, they've won only 1, drew 2 and lost 7. Really bad form indeed. The form table isn't too much better for Swansea. 2 wins and 3 defeats in their last 5 games. it seems like the sides are going to Bolton and winning, so I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Swansea, and a defeat here for Swansea, for Bolton rather, would actually see them go into the relegation zone. And with that terrible form, it is a really concerning time for Bolton. They really need to turn around and get a win against Swansea. Next we have Bristol City versus Preston. As I always say, they seem to lose to and win to. That seems to be how they've operated so far this season, which is very bad. You can't just win to and then lose to. It's a very good way of having a mediocre season. Preston, they have improved in recent weeks. In their last 5 games, 2 draws, 2 wins and another draw, so they are unbeaten in their last sort of 6 games in total, but they still remain just outside the relegation zone, which is somewhere they don't want to be. They want to be a lot further up the table. Bristol City, their home form isn't very good, only 11 points picked up. Their away form is much better. They're in 8th place for their away form, but I do feel that they will beat Preston. I'm going to go 2-1, but it could be a draw. Preston seem to have been picking out some really good draws as of late. But having said that, Preston have only picked up 3 points so far this season away from home, drawing with Ipswich, Hull and Aston Villa just before Steve Bruce was sacked. So having said that, I'm going to go for a win for Bristol City, 2-1 to the Robins. Next we have Derby versus Aston Villa, a game that could be really interesting indeed. Derby's form has been brilliant as of late. 3 wins, 2 draws, 0 defeats, beaten Birmingham, beating West Brom and beating Sheffield United. All 3 of those sides are in the top 10, and then draws against Middlesbrough and then that draw against QPR. So really good points picked up there. 2 very good points picked up on the road there. Aston Villa, their form has been iffy, very iffy. Since sacking Steve Bruce, they've lost 3 and won 2, no defeats. Their wins have come against Swansea and last week against Bolton, but before that, defeats to QPR and Norwich. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Derby. I think that they'll be able to beat Aston Villa by the same score that they beat Birmingham, and that could see them rocket up to into the top 2 if results go their way. Next we have Middlesbrough versus Wigan, and I've always stated about the terrible away form of Wigan. Just 1 win picked up all season, no draws, 7 defeats. They have lost the most games on the road out of anyone. Their home form is very good, but their away form is absolutely dreadful. Middlesbrough, the wheels have just started to grind to a halt a little bit. 3 draws in a row against Rotherham, Derby and Stoke after coming back from the last international break with a 2-1 win over Sheffield Wednesday. I can't see anything other than a Middlesbrough win. I think it will just be a comfortable 2-0 win. Wigan, they're in very bad form. Just 1 win in their last 5 games. A 1-0 win over West Brom, obviously at home, but defeats to Preston, Millwall, Sheffield United and Leeds have really seen them go down the table. They are currently in 16th place, but I think Middlesbrough will comfortably win that one. Next we go to Norwich, who topped the table on Saturday after that 4-0 drubbing of Sheffield Wednesday. Leeds won on Sunday to go top, but they are level on points. They face Millwall, who have won 3 of their last 5 games, have started to pick up some results, beating Aston Villa, beating Wigan and also beating Ipswich. Their defeats come against Reading and last week against Brentford. 4 wins on the bounce for Daniel Farke's men against Forest, Villa, Brentford and Sheffield Wednesday, and I expect to make 5 wins from 5. I'm going to go for a 3-0 win to Norwich. Once again, they could go top of the league. Nottingham Forest versus Stoke now. Both sides had a slow start but seem to be improving as the weeks go by, particularly Forest, who are now in 6th place with 3 wins, 1 draw and 1 defeat in the last 5 games. Stoke, 2 wins, 2 draws and 1 defeat. I'm going to go for a draw here. I'm going to go 0-0, and I feel like that would be a very good point for Gary Rowett's men. Nottingham Forest, they seem to have turned a corner with some wins finally after so many draws. They have drawn 8 games so far, which is a record, along with Birmingham, who have also drawn 8. But they need to start turning the draws into wins, and that's exactly what they have done. I'm going to expect another draw. I'm going to go 0-0, which I think would be a really, really good point for Stoke. That would mean Nottingham Forest would probably fall out of the playoffs. Next, we go to a London clash between QPR and Brentford. QPR, their form has been amazing since those opening 4 defeats. 3 wins, 1 draw and 1 defeat in their last 5 games has seen them rise to 11th place in the table. It's total opposite story for Brentford. 3 defeats, 1 win and 1 draw. After 3 defeats in a row under their new manager Thomas Frank, they finally got a win against Millwall. His first win in his first 4 games in charge. QPR, they're just 2 points above. I'm expecting it to be tight, but QPR's home form is pretty good. They have picked up 13 points, and Brentford's only picked up 4 points on the road so far and are yet to win. So having said that, I'm going to go 2-0 to QPR. The last 3 o'clock game is between Reading and Ipswich. A massive game for both sides. Reading, they have picked up 6 points from their last 15 with wins over Bristol City and Millwall, both of those at home. Ipswich, they have picked up 4 points from their last 15, a draw against Preston, and then that 3-2 win against Swansea, the only win they have picked up so far this season. It's going to be really, really tough for Paul Lambert. They've not really got going yet. Reading, they have won 3 of their 8 games so far at home. Away form, Ipswich, their form obviously isn't very, very good. 4 points picked up from their first 8 away trips. I don't know how this one will go, but Reading seem to have quite good home form at the minute. 3 wins and 2 defeats. The defeats coming against Norwich and QPR, sides that you would expect them to beat. So for that reason, I'm going to go for a tight 2-1 win to Reading. The final game is West Brom versus Leeds. West Brom were on fire a few weeks ago, but things have very, very much cooled down at the Hawthorns. 3 defeats and 1 draw in their last 4 games, losing to Derby, losing to Wigan and losing to Hull, then a draw with Blackburn. Leeds are currently top of the pile with 2 wins, 2 draws and 1 defeat. In their last game, they beat Wigan to go top of the league. I really, really can only see one winner. The side that has the best away form in the league is Leeds, with 4 wins, 3 draws and 1 defeat. That defeat coming against Blackburn. So I can only see one winner here. I'm going to go 2-0 to Leeds. West Brom, they seem to lose these kind of games, so that's why I think Leeds will win. That is the roundup of the Championship games. Feel free to drop your comments down below and what you feel, the predictions you feel. Feel free to let me know down below. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. My name is Mike, and I will see you soon.